Good morning from London. I'm going to do a sort of a swiftish review today, I think. And I was thinking, what could I smoke? Considering the time's probably about 7 in the morning, I'm not really sure. But a few cars are sort of like whizzing around outside my apartment. So I was thinking, what could I smoke? Something not too taxing, something quite light. And I thought I would go for an absolute stone cold classic, and that is the Hoyo De Monterrey Epicure number 2. Now this is a box I've had in my possession now for a couple of years now. It's a, I don't know if we can read that on the back, I haven't got my glasses with me, but it's an 18 box. And when I first got these, I have to say they weren't good at all. I didn't think they were just not ready. They were not ready, and I decided I just put them away. I had one out there. You have to try one to see how the box is going to be. What the flavours are that are in there, how strong it is, and they were strong. They were very strong, but that showed me that they could age quite nicely. And so I put them away, literally 18 months or so. And last year, earlier on in the year, I had a couple out of it, and with the cigars had changed dramatically, and it just shows you what can happen in the space of a few months. And the flavours that I got when I first got them were very harsh and very, very, very strong on the nicotine front. In fact, I smoked about halfway through one, and I had to throw it away because it was too strong. It sort of made me feel quite bandy, and it wasn't a nice experience. But I could see flavours in there that I thought, wow, this can be a good cigar. This will be a good cigar. So I just thought, let's just put them away, forget about them for a while, just sit on them, let them rest. Let's get some of the ammonia out of them. And even when I sort of like could smell the box, you could smell it when I first got it. I put it to my nose and I just thought to myself, these are not going to be ready for ages. But you have to smoke one to see what they're like. So you smell the box, and there was a smell of tramp's piss in there. It's very light. Or if you go to a London Underground and you can smell, the smell I'm on about. Or, around a train station where people have been slashing all night when they come out of the pubs. But anyhow, it was very light on that. But I have to say now, this can now smells unfucking real. All the ammonia's gone. It's just a very, very, very deep smell. It's quite beautiful. It really is. So let me just pick one out. So there we go. This is what we're going to smoke today. An old classic and an absolute stone cold favourite of mine. I love these. When they're on. No doubt about that. So anyhow, enough of the waffling. I'll be smoking this, and I'll be back when I'm down past the first third. See, doing this, cheap, doing it on the cheap. Look at that, done already in a split second. Great draw. Excellent draw. Sweetness across the lips, great sign. got that deep flavour. No ammonia to talk of. That's gone. That's now gone. I would expect the strength to be ramping up in the last third. I think there will be a nicotine hit. The sweet flavours on the lips it's a great sign. Quite mild on the cold draw. Yeah, quite mild. And yes, that's a Zippo. And yes, it's got lighter fuel in it. And no, I can't taste lighter fuel. You never can. It's bullshit. If you've got Zippo, use it, trust me. Slight pepper through the nose. Very, very, very mild. Very, very mild. Sweet flavours, as I thought. That's probably coming from the wrapper, but I can taste it in the mouth. The thing is with sweetness in the cigars, it's great when you get it, if you like the sweet side of it. But once it's gone, it's gone. You can't. It's very rare you get it back, which is a shame if you like sweet cigars. But that's the journey of a Cuban cigar. Okay, let me smoke some of this and I'll be back approaching the second third. Going back to the a 50 cab, they are generally a better stamp of cigar that's inside the box. I mean, some people say that actually the best cigars are in 10 boxes. Not that you can get 10 count boxes of the Epi 2s. The reason being is because they're easier to sort, and you can get like all the uniform colour wrappers are easier to sort. But anyhow, going back to the 50 cab, the reason they're better is because you also they get aired quite easily, because there's more air in the box to circulate around the cigars the way they're stacked, plus they're in the box. And also, one of the most important things is that they're all round. They're round. In a 25 count box, dress box, they can be, if they're box pressed, and I try and stay away from box pressed cigars, because if they're tight to start with, and then you box press them and crush them even more, then you could run into problems, especially if it's an oily cigar and it's got a lot of oils in there, and they'll stick together. Now a lot of people go, that's plug, that's a plug. Technically it is a plug, but it's also because there are a lot of oils in the cigar, and when they're box pressed and when you crush them together, they're going to stick like shit to a blanket, and then it's going to be hard. And then, you know, basically when you're smoking them, if you see like a lot of oils gathering in the end of your cigar, they could be bitter, and that's what can make a cigar bitter on your lips, and you think that the cigar's actually bitter itself. It's not, it's that. So what happens is just get your snippers and cut that bit off, and you should get a better flavour from there. But that's one of the reasons why 50 cabs are better. Try and stay away from box presses. They're not good. Smoking beautifully. Great burn. Nice ash. Classic ash. Black and grey. Really nice burn, beautiful flavours so far in this first third. Okay, I'll be back. You can see it's a good rolled cigar because it's all dead centre. Even burn and a good draw. So when you can see the cone, it's dead centre. If it's over to one side, it's when you're going to get a burn down one side. You want the burn to be even all the way round. Now I'm approaching the second and third, and I have to say it's been a very, 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 very good cigar so far. Very nice sweetness. It's got a slight oaty flavour to it. And a toasted sort of tobacco flavour. That's about all it's sort of throwing at the moment. But I've got a very tiny brain, and I can't pick up more than probably 3 flavours at a time, unlike a lot of these people that can pick out a touch of cinnamon, a touch of honey badger's foot, a little bit of nutmeg, and some fried liver. But I'm pretty limited to what I can taste. All I know, it tastes nice. I'll be back when we're down at the band. I've had some people ask me where they think the sweetness comes from, or I've seen conversations where people say, how come my cigar is sweet? Now, a lot of tobacco plantations are grown next to sugar beet plantations in Cuba. And this is something that I heard. Now they reckon that the sugar beet, when the wind blows, it blows like the frosting off of the leaves, and then that can spread over to the tobacco fields, and it can get on all the tobacco leaves, and that's how you get, especially the all the leaves get sort of coated, so you get it all over the wrapper and everything like that. So that's when you might get some crops that are very sweet. Some cigars are very sweet because they've been next to sugar beet, which is one of the main things they grow in Cuba. Just what I've heard. Don't take it for absolute solid gold, It's only what I've heard. See, the burn on this is sort of, as you can see, it's all a bit of wrapper damage. You know what happened there? I dropped it a minute ago, and I've done the wrapper. It shouldn't be too bad. But anyhow, let's go back to look at the burn. Is very, very good, and the reason also being is because when they're in a 50 cab, the humidity in your humidor gets into the box, and because of the gaps in the way they're stacked in the bundles, the humidity can easily get around the cigars, as opposed to in a dress box where they're all lying flat. The humidity can only usually get to the top, so the underside of the cigar will burn sometimes quicker because it's drier. Superb. I think what I'm going to do, what I intended to do when I first started up my channel was, I wasn't going to promote it heavily or anything like that. I just put it out there and see what happens. In some of the early, I thought what I'd do in some of the earlier videos. I'll just show some boxes to start with, and then I was intending to later on just go back and start smoking them. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to have to look back on some of my previous videos to see what I showed. I don't really look. I'll have to have a look, and I think I'm going to start smoking from some of those boxes just to do some reviews on the cigars. But I'll have to see if I've still got them. Well, hopefully I haven't smoked any of them. But yeah, that's my plan. That was my plan in the beginning. So we'll have a look, and I'll see what I've got laying in the archives. Can you see this now? That's the damage from the cigar. Just dropping it. You can see how thin the wrapper is. You can see how thin the wrapper is, and it's starting to bust up on me now. That's why you've got to be so careful with Cuban cigars. It's not like the cigars from the New World, where they're like covered in like a sheet of leather. These are very, very delicate wrappers, and you can just see how thin they are. So if you drop it and you make a little bit of damage, you could run into a lot of problems, and that is what I'm going to be running into now. I'm glad it's near the top because I might be able to smoke through it, but I do expect it to bust up on me. We'll see. See, you can see how it's starting to break apart on me now, just through like one little nick, and it's sort of like you've bruised and that's where the damage is. That's where it's fallen and cracked. It had minuscule cracks in the wrapper, and I'm paying the price for it now. I can see that it's going to go down here as well. So this is probably going to come apart on me through my own clumsiness. So there you go. Whenever you get a cigar out, be so careful, especially with Cuban cigars. It's a lesson to be learnt for everyone. You know, they're expensive. Look after them. Be very careful with them. Treat them like they're like a baby. Don't drop them. Just like, be very, very careful. As I'm coming into the final third, it's lost its sweetness, and that's not going to come back. I know that. It's sort of like strong toasted tobacco. The power's now ramping up because everything is now starting to condense down one end. You can see the oils now gathering in the end of the cigar, which is now giving a slight tart, not bitter, slightly tart flavour on my tongue and my lips. And I could snip it, but I'm not going to, because the damage to this cigar is irreparable, and I feel if I snip it, it could bust the thing apart. So I'm not going to bother. I would normally if it wasn't so damaged, but the thing is, it is smoking, and it will smoke down to the end. If all that damage was done at the beginning and it was at the top end, you'd be in trouble trying to get a draw out of it. But it's fine at the moment because of the geography of the smash. Very nice, very nice. Okay guys, well, I'm into my final third now, and I think I'm going to call it a day. The youth now is definitely showing. it's become sort of quite grubby, slightly dirty on the palate, which tells me that the cigar is nowhere near ready. So, you know, it's been a 3/4 of it has been, you know, 2/4 of it, 2/3 of it, should I say, has been absolutely fine. But it's coming into this last third. It's now sort of like, it's becoming sort of mildly grubby. They tell you when they're done, cigars. I will continue smoking this down until I get bored of it, but it's now not changing. It's just going to get stronger and will probably become very bitter towards the very end. But, you know, hey ho, that's the way it goes. So, anyhow, I'm going to leave it there. Have a great weekend, and I'll come back with a video soonish. Have a good day.